Yo, yo, my peoples, I'm Imudai, and welcome to the 12th episode of EasyCast. Almost forgot to clap there.
I almost forgot.
So today I bring my friend, my cousin actually, Najib. How are you doing this fine evening?
Very well, sir. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No problemo. Today we're going to be speaking about a little bit more self-help, but answering your questions that you gave to me, your problems that, we can solve. And Najib's going to help out with answering and, conversing. And hopefully it'll be a nice show on the road. Are you ready to get started there, mate?
Yeah, all good.
All right, let's go. What is the first question that someone has given in?
The first one we have is how to deal with missing someone and them leaving. In
Mhm.
particular, we have one about certain situation. I'm just going to read it out for you.
Yeah.
My friend group split and I'm in the middle of it and I'm friends with both groups. It gets awkward sometimes and tough to spend time together. What's your advice on that?
Mm-hmm. So I definitely can understand because when it comes to different friend groups, I feel like it's like we get we're interested in certain people and not the actual full friend group.
Hmm.
So in my case, for example, I I can count on my finger the amount of people that I hang out with, and the problem is each of those people hang out with a different sect of people. So that makes sense. I understand like it's hard to choose a group or something like that, but I think it's just you should instead of focusing on a group, I think focusing on people specifically is what's better, you know? So for me, I just focus on the people themselves, and that's why it is a little bit harder to, hang out with more than one of those people at the same time because they're not usually like connected. They're usually hanging out with their people, but it just means like if they're doing something I'm with their friends, I'm not really hanging out with them. If I'm gonna hang out with those people, I'm gonna hang out with them like more one on one kind of thing. And I enjoy more one on one or two on one kind of thing. And then there's obviously the occasional group events that we do. I mean, do you prefer like more one on one? Do you prefer more like with the boys, or what's your what's your take on that?
I think it depends on where you are. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I like hanging out more one on one because it's a bit more, it's just you and that person. It's a bit more like you're actually talking a lot more with
Yeah.
them. Whereas the group, everyone's just trying to chime in, say like the
Mm.
best joke, kind of.
Yeah, that's
Um,
true.
Another thing I would say is in this situation when you're trying to, pick between both of the groups, I would say pick the one that's more beneficial towards yourself because
Good point.
obviously you don't want to have one group that you're just wasting time with once actually, you have similar goals and stuff with. And if one of them you're considering, are they really a valuable friend? If you're even considering that, then you know that you shouldn't be hanging out with that person. But other than that, I think, yeah, you want to hanging out with one or two mostly most of the time. When you want to be in a group, it's good if you're just at a gathering or something. It's all nice to have, a lot of people because you don't want to lose everyone. I know
Yeah,
that
yeah.
everyone gets scared of losing everyone in their, late teens and 20s, but you wanna keep
Yeah, like focusing on the value that you're gonna get from these people.
the value that you get, and if that person's actually very, genuinely a good person and they have
Mhm.
good morals and what you want as a friend. That's
Yeah.
what I'd say.
Wow, wise words. Didn't expect it.
Yeah.
Nah, that it's 100% true. I think it's about the value that you can get from the person. And I don't mean it in a way of using them,
Hmm.
but each person has a rank, has a value, has a like something that you can benefit from. Are they going to degrade you? Are they going to bring you up? And the problem is with most groups, there are the people that bring you down, the people that bring you up, and like that's why a group is very middle ground. It's never going to allow you to always push yourself up. It's very hard and unique
Hmm.
to find to have a specific group where everyone is trying to be the best of themselves and in their highs. It's always like if there's one you know uh what's it called imperfection, it like infects everyone else. And so that's what I find with school and with you know like when you have larger groups of people hanging around with, that's what causes a lot of you know not like breakups, but it causes the problems to that's what births a lot of the problems.
Definitely.
Yeah. So in terms of hanging out with people, I'd say, yeah, try to focus on uh the people themselves and not actually just, not the whole group in general. Pick out what you think is going to benefit you, not in a way of using them, and try to, elevate yourself in a moral way, a religious way. For example, we're Muslims, and we like to hang around people that are going to help us religiously, uh, because if I'm going to be hanging out with someone that's taking me away from my religion, then that's negatively affecting that, and that's not something I want to have around my life. So
No.
I'll distance myself away from that person. So, I mean, that's just in general. Yeah. Did you have a second part, or?
No, the second one was it was how to stay between both of them. Obviously, you don't want to be hanging out just one on one or one or two, because then they'll find out that you're just hanging out with each other, and they'll feel like you're isolating yourselves from them. And the last thing you want to do is upset someone.
Yeah, true.
So, what I would say is, in your scenario, I would just try to keep it mutual between both as long as I can. And obviously, you're gonna have there's probably one in the group that you wouldn't like being one on one with out of all of them.
Yeah.
But if you build up a genuine relationship with each of them, and you have certain things you can talk about with each of them, it's never going to be awkward when there's
Yeah.
just one on when everyone's hanging out on or wherever. So I would say just building a relationship which each of them is valuable, because everyone's going to be different in the group. That's what makes it a good group. Everyone's got different values, adding it and making it actually a good group to hang out with. That's what I would say.
100%. I think, not trying to delve too much in the topic, but it's if this means, in doing so that you might be alone, or you might lose a lot of people, you're essentially losing a lot of the negative that's going to come in your life because of that. It's not, don't see it as a bad thing. You're taking away something for you to gain further. Being by yourself allows you to be more independent, and obviously that's not saying don't have friends. It's like as if I'm just saying I have no friends, and I'm just talking as if I have no friends, and I'm trying to make excuses for it. But like you focusing on having that, how I said, counting the friends that I have on my fingers. The reason I have these people is because it's hard to find genuine people that are constantly working to be the best version of themselves. And that's why I've emphasized on the podcast many times that when you strive to work to be the best version of yourself, you automatically exit the bubble of society. You exit the bubble of generalism. Everyone is doing the same thing, having the same issues. And that's the whole point of this podcast, is to have fun, but at the same time, try to help a lot of these people, and everyone listening, and, to escape from these problems, pop that bubble, and, change their life around. Because, you see that when you improve yourself, if you make that first step, the next step happens. And if you're talking in a religious aspect, in Islam, if you take one step, then God takes, if you walk towards God, God runs towards you. And if you're running, then he's closer to you than your jugular vein. That's like, it's a beautiful saying. And that applies with many things. Once you just take that initiative, you're never always going to be ready. That's one big thing. You're never always going to be ready. But once you take the step, that's you becoming ready. You becoming ready is you making the first initial step. So on that topic, I'd say that's pretty fair. What's the next Q&A?
Second most frequent thing was probably dealing with stress. And first off, I think we should talk about family. And the second one was schoolwork and how to deal with
I think
a busy life, I guess.
Yeah, okay. I think the biggest problem, or not problem, but a lot of people have, is they feel like their family is always expecting a lot from them, or pressuring them, putting a lot on them. And it's definitely understandable. In my family, I have a lot of high standards. I mean, otherwise I wouldn't be speaking the way I'm speaking if it wasn't for my parents, which I'm very thankful for. What people need to understand is that the parents will always want the best for you 99.9% of the time, unless they're mentally, insane, or something's wrong with them, or they're generally just dumb. But generally, they always want the best for you. And that's what people need to realize. As teenagers, I'm not a teenager tomorrow.
No.
Tomorrow's my birthday. I'm turning 20. But,
20.
As teenagers, usually, we have that rebellious attitude towards parents and elders, and we don't. It's very rare that you find someone taking the advice from them compared to what they're going against. You know, them trying to go against what they're giving to you. Um, and yeah, so I'm just trying to. I lost track for a second. Teenagers rebel. Okay, so family, they never want the worst for you. They only want the best for you. The only problem with a lot of parents, and it's understandable, is their approach. Their approach to show you what they want to see in you.
It's definitely tough love.
It's tough love. It's like just like how usually a father and his son, you know, kind of like is kind of there's not really a soft moment between each other.
No.
It's kind of just like, come on, boy, you do it, boy.
Always at each other's necks.
Yeah, but I think you know what really improves a parent because it goes both ways. But I'd say it's more like a 30-70.
Yeah.
You know, I think it comes down to our generation. We're very understandable. We're very like I think woke in terms of emotionally woke. We're not stern, you know, or at least most of us aren't.
We're not as old fashioned as them. Like
yeah, exactly.
I think they're again tough love, and they're more just about do, not like explaining how to actually do it. They just expect you to be the best because they just want the best for you. But definitely, I would say also you realize later on. I know it's hard when your parents are just you have to do it,
Yeah.
especially when you're when you're living with them, which a lot of us are.
Yeah,
You have to do what it is because it's their their house, their rules, whatever it may be. But you figure out later on that their what they were teaching you in the moment was actually the right thing long term.
yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
in the moment, it's like it's the end of the world. It's the wrong decision. If you don't do this, it's just not going to be where you're not going to get where you want. But then you realize later on that that was actually the best decision. It was the hard one that they made for you, and they made the decision for you because maybe you weren't mature enough to make it yet. But it was ultimately the right decision. And a lot of people learn that later on. That's why a lot of people have regrets when they're older. I think definitely
Yeah.
because I wish I spent more time with my family. I wish I, didn't ruin cut my relationships. I
Yeah.
wish I didn't move out of my hometown and visit
Yeah.
my family before it was too late, because they realized that they were actually wanted the best for them, but they were just too immature. They weren't ready to hear that yet, I think.
That's the biggest like regret that most people have, and it's just normal. That's the
Yeah.
whole saying. Like you regret it once you're older. Like, oh, your dad's gonna tell you, when you grow up, you're gonna realize, that what I did was right, and you're gonna say I told you so. My father was right back then, and it happens no matter what. As much as you prevent, we're all at the end of the day, we're all gonna be like kids at that time. You can't fully control that,
No.
but it's our job to understand what they're trying to mean. What they want us to achieve, why they want us to achieve it. Why do our parents want us to be so high? Why are they giving us these morals? Why are they teaching us this religion? Or why are they teaching us, how to be this certain person, hopefully a good one? It's like we need to understand the reasoning behind it. And I guess it's as simple as uh, being the best that you can be. You've mentioned before that, no man but your father wants to be the best for you,
Mm.
like, and that is, like, it shows, like in general, your parents want you to be the best version of yourself, and they just want you to succeed. So although the approach can come a bit off stern, a bit angrily, you need to kind of sit back and not take it in like a self-criticizing way, or like in a what's the word when you take something offensively? Yeah, so not taking it in an offensive way. Sometimes it's hard. I get it, because even with my dad, sometimes it might come off a bit of like a stern or hard tone.
Yeah.
But once you just get rid of that like offensive little feeling, like he's telling me what to do or whatever, you start to realize, okay, why does he want me to do this? He wants me to, obviously, he only wants the best for me.
Yeah.
So what he's saying has to mean something good, right? And then you follow what he says, and then you find yourself learning more. And when you have that open relationship with your parent, and it's definitely, I understand in, for example, more the Asian and the Arab households, and more like those types of households, ethnic households is very
Traditional.
very traditional, and they're very like held back when it comes to an emotional connection between the parent and the the offspring, the
The parent
son.
and the kid, the
Yeah, the
child.
parent and the kid. Um, so it's understandable that it's hard, but we're changing nowadays. You know, us as parents, we need to realize, well, not parents yet, hopefully not. Yeah, you're not getting,
Inshallah,
yeah,
inshallah.
inshallah soon, you know, if God wills, but not too early. But,
Not too soon.
um, but we need to understand that that point is they only want the best for us. So we have to follow that. And I think one important thing to develop that connection between a kid and a teen and their parents is to actually genuinely be transparent with them.
Yeah.
When a kid is not transparent with their parent, you get it? Transparent with the parent.
Yeah.
Um, that's what starts causing problems. That's what closes a lot of, you know, gates between each other. You want to be emotionally connected in that way, then you have to allow that to happen. And most teenagers and most, you know, people our age close that off.
Mm.
And because they see themselves as, what are my parents going to help me with? They're always just angry at me. They always expect this, and they always have expectations. The expectations they have for you is out of love for you, right? So once you let go of that, you know, rebellious phase or that rebellious attitude and mindset, you will only improve because you have the closest people towards you, you know, open to help you. And if you're not opening yourself for that opportunity of help and improvement and positive constructive criticism, then you're just closing yourself off, and there's no point. Yeah.
I think that's the best as well, because when you get overwhelmed with it and you're like, oh, they want me to do this, the fact that they're expecting the highest and best of you, it prepares you long term as well.
Yeah.
But you also thank them for that, because you succeed best when they expect the best from you, and you do as well as you can. The fact that they set the standard so high, you'll do well regardless.
Yeah.
You just have to be open to it. I know it can be harsh sometimes, or there's just so much input, because obviously they're transparent with you the most. They just tell you what they want,
Yeah.
and you want to shy away so they don't know everything, or
Yeah.
there's more of a burden. There's more things they want. But if you listen, take a second to react to it. Don't be quick to react. Don't just say
Yeah.
out of impulse.
Yeah.
Just take it and be like, okay, where are they coming from? Why do they want this from me? And if it's valid, which 9 times out of 10 it is,
Yeah.
you just have to do what you can. They expect, they're not going to expect you to do everything. They expect you to do the best you can. They just want the best for you. So
Yeah.
that's the best way to deal with that, to be honest.
Yeah. Like, you know, perfectly put. I think, you know, they say there's a saying of never make promises when you're happy, and never, you know,
Never make the decision when you're upset.
When you're upset, yeah. So don't let that impulse feeling affect you. You know, we all have like in Arabic it's called like a nafs, which is kind of like a desire, our internal desire, our internal, you know, rebelliousness to want to do, you know, negative things. We have to fight ourselves to. We need to push ourselves past that phase, that silly phase that, you know. If you're speaking religious aspect, then what the devil's putting in front of you and telling you these negative things. If you're not looking at it religious aspect, just in general negative thoughts, right? So you need to skip past those. And I think developing that connection with your parents compared to not, you know, that you're just limiting yourself. You're only losing. You're going to stay in that same bubble as we spoke about. And if in order, the biggest step for me when I was trying to improve myself was asking around the people that are closest to me, what can I do to improve? And the number one, you know, person or people were my parents, especially my mum and my dad, you know. But my mum, you know, because she's more on an emotional standpoint, she's able to understand, you know, more the emotional side of things. And then my dad is more on like the life physical standpoint.
The
and more as a
hardworking
man.
aspect.
Yeah, like that. What a man needs to be. He understands that, and he pushes me to be that. And my mum pushes me to be also like, you know, emotionally connected. And then combine them together, you have a perfect, like a successful son or daughter, or, you know, just a successful teenager child that's able to grow perfectly. Um, and that's why people need to secure that relationship with their parents. It's hard, but start it off. And that means by being open, telling your parents, being transparent, say, look, I want to do such and such. This is my opinion on these things. I've had this problem here. Can you give me your opinion on it? Always getting their opinion. What do they think of the situation? I always, like, every single day, I talk to my parents, and especially my mum, always sending her anything, how I'm feeling, completely transparent. Because by doing that, I'm able to get the best advice. No one else is going to give me better advice. Like, obviously, in terms of maybe practicalness, there are some people that have more knowledge on certain aspects, but your parents want the best for you. They're going to give you the advice that you need, and also necessarily not what you want to hear, but the approach is they know the best approach to you because they know you your whole life. So I'd say in terms of parents, that's what I would do, and I think 100%.
Yeah, I would say just to add on, you want to be as transparent as you can, because if you're not giving them the full story, you're not gonna get all the advice you can.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a lot of thing. I say that a lot. If you don't tell them everything, you're gonna miss out on some key advice, and there's gonna be some things that they're not gonna pick up on because they know you best. So if they see that you're not telling them everything, then they'll get worried. And they'll think that something's up, and they might you know start thinking you're hiding things from them, and that's what you don't want, because you don't want to lose that relationship, because that is the person that's going to have your back in the end of the day. They're going to be in your corner. I think definitely. And yeah, you don't want to lose them. Everyone, we have limited time on this earth.
Yeah.
You want them to be there as long as you can. Just be as transparent as you can, to be honest.
And be close to your parents. It's one of the most important relationships you can have, after God, of course, in terms of religious aspect. But again, non-religiously, your parents are going to be your number one supporters. And your family. We just talked about stress about parents. I would like to expand it on in terms of family just a little bit. We're all going to have siblings. They're always going to, I have my brothers on here all the time, and, I have sisters, and sometimes it can be a bit much. Sometimes they're a bit annoying. Sometimes they're not as mature as you, or you need to think maybe you're not as mature as them, and I think it's a whole learning experience, and eventually by the end of it, you're going to be, level-headed once everyone starts growing up a bit. But you just have to, if you've matured early, then at least help them mature with you. And if you need to mature and you can sense that they're being more successful, then learn from them instead of, complaining about what they're achieving and that they have such high standards, and you yourself is not doing anything to be that same level. And obviously time is experience, but you can gain some of that experience before the time happens where, it allows you to experience what you need to experience. That sounds a little confusing, but you get the point. That, like, my biggest point before was, we can do a certain amount of preparation, but just life teaches you a lot of these lessons. And like last year, I was working on to be the best version of myself, although I wasn't, I wanted to be able to be ready for marriage if the opportunity was to arise, if I met someone and, all worked out. But I can say, for me at this point, me last year, when I was working on it, I would say that maybe back then I was saying I was ready, but now I could say I wasn't ready then. There was a lot more that I've learned in just 1 year, in just 6 months, in 3 months. You learn a lot through just time and experience and traveling and talking with family. Just all of this adds to it. But as I said, you being that younger sibling or the one that needs to mature or improve, you still have that massive gap to fill before time is the only thing left to allow you to experience or allow you to improve. And that gap needs to be worked on. And once you do that, you're becoming the best version of yourself. And that's what's extremely important.
Yeah, and because you're the older sibling, you can
I can
relate.
understand. Yeah.
You can relate. You can understand because you've taught your younger siblings, or because you have the most experience. Me as the youngest, I can, comfortably say that my older siblings have, put their morals and their values and actually taught me the right ways.
Yeah.
Of being the youngest, because I have the least experience out of all of them. I'm the youngest. They've been through life more than everything, and they're next. They're the step below the parents when
Yeah,
they're not there.
exactly.
They're the role models that you have. So as a younger sibling aspect or point of view, that's what you need to have that good relationship, and you need to listen to them because as the saying goes, you need to listen to your elders. But
Yeah,
it is true because that life experience is something that you can't get from the internet or just from your friends because they're kind of the same age, or unless you have older friends, which is
yeah,
also good to have. But as a younger sibling, you want to listen because they have good values and they've been through more of life than you, and that's just some experience that you need to have.
yeah, yeah. Touching on older friends as well, because I think we covered that topic pretty well. Uh, that I definitely have a lot of older people that I not necessarily look up to, but
Aspire.
yeah, like they allow me to. I see myself in them, but like what I want to be, but like even better. I would classify myself in, and when I speak about this, it's never in a boastful way, but I would say alhamdulillah, praise be to God, thank be to God, that I have, achieved a lot because, of the efforts that I put in all through God, of course, but, uh, I've been able to do that. I've been able to reach that point. But so it's hard for me to find people, um, that are past me in a way. And I don't mean it in a boastful way, but I mean it in terms of it's hard for me to find people to look up to that are the same age as me, right? So when me grabbing people in my life that are, let's say, because I'm turning 20, let's say I'm 20 anyways. By the time this episode comes out, I'll be 20, 1 week later. Um,
Tomorrow, inshallah, by the way.
actually, when this episode, yeah, 1 week later. Um, so like, let's say I will have people that are about 30, 27, 35, 40, those type of people have, they're always going to have experience. They're always going to want to teach you, and bringing those opinions in your life allow you to see a different perspective than what your general mass of friends are going to be telling you.
And they actually want to give you the advice
Yeah.
instead of the friends that are maybe shied off and they don't want to give you their secrets.
Yeah.
Older people always want to tell you their life stories and stuff because they have that experience to give.
Yeah.
So when they talk about it, you have to genuinely listen because that's advice that you can't buy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't just search that stuff up. But if it's someone like, especially if you're the masjid and you got some
Yeah.
older brothers teaching you something, their life is so similar to yours because of your values and everything that you stand for.
Yeah.
That advice is so much more valuable.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah, exactly. And that's why, like, it's always important to surround yourself with those people, and not latch on to them, but leech whatever knowledge and information you can from them.
stay as close as you can to them.
Yeah.
Try not to lose them. Keep them within arm's reach.
Make your circle age, like, ranged, not just people your age. Try to get some people that are younger, some people that are older, some people your age, parents. Make sure it's like very broad.
But
And
also with people, make the group people that you want to be.
oh
with.
no, of course. Yeah, no, the people that you want to have around you. I'm not saying like go grab an infant
No,
and just
no,
be
no,
in
no.
your group. But I mean, like, have people that you see good in them or you want to help. As I said before, that I do like to hang around more of the younger boys. Although that sounds like
Mad
weird.
zesty.
Yeah, but I mean, I see more genuinity in them compared to people my age at the moment, because I feel like their phase, they're not in that phase of rebelliousness as much as those people in my age.
Because they're so innocent.
Yeah,
They
they're
haven't
more
experienced-
innocent. They're not so innocent, but
yeah. Yeah. I mean, people that are our age, there's
oh, true, fair. I mean, there is a lot worse, so
yeah.
that's fair. But and yeah, I guess that covers that whole topic.
That covers family. Do you want to talk briefly about school?
School stress.
On
I
top of
mean,
that?
yeah. I mean, school stress it's simply put, like, I think, like, people try to neglect it completely. People try to neglect the benefit that they're going to get from it, and it's definitely not. It's not easy. It's not like, it's definitely bothersome. I hate with a passion chemistry, like that. If I see it again, I will literally, like, end it all. I'm joking, but I hate chemistry with a life, and I could not do it in school. Like, I struggled, but I still studied for it. It's the effort. You know, I told my cousin recently who, you know, didn't really want to do they had an exam the next day. And they know they had the exam the next day, but they didn't want to do the effort because they knew they were probably going to fail regardless. They had a whole bunch of math to study, algebra. And you know, she didn't like think she was going to pass, so she just let it go completely. So then my perspective on this is that it's not about the result, it's about what you did to achieve the result. If you put in the effort, you put in the right measures in order to get, you know, a good mark, or to get, you know, to aim for the highest that you can. If you put in the effort for it, whatever result you get is the best that it could have been. You know, we can always learn, we can always improve, but we're all different. You're going to have the people like in uni that I join every semester I join, these people, they just know everything. And I'm like, but how? How do you, like, that's just how people are. Some people are just genuinely smart. I wouldn't classify myself as smart. I just classify myself as smart at working hard, you know, or working hard at being smart. And that means by putting in a lot of the effort.
Hard work beats talent.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And maybe you'll see most of the people with talent, they don't necessarily work the same level as you because they already have it. They think that it's easy to them, so they already have it. So they don't have that, you know, that pain to want to work, that drive to want to work to get to that level, because they don't
need it.
they are the goal,
Yeah.
right? So imagine if they had the same amount of work ethic that someone who's not someone who is a hard worker has. Imagine how much they could have achieved. So you need to look at yourself, and you just need to make sure you're putting in the work necessary, and take away the thought of, you know, it's just bothersome and all this stuff. You need to see the goal. As I said before, motivation is seeing the goal and being self-disciplined enough to work towards that. So no matter what happens, you don't need a burst of motivation from some hype song you just listened to or some pep talk you just got. You're always going to push yourself towards that. And so tying that back into stress in school. Why do people get stressed in school? Is because they feel overwhelmed. And why are you feeling overwhelmed? Well, most of the time, it's because there's a lot to do. And how do you break that up? With all the steps that are given for time management and, you know, for organizing everything, organizing your work. Once you do all of that, and if you attack everything in increments before actually before the exam comes. For example, taking things like studying every week and doing like a bit every week compared to doing everything a week before the actual exam. If you study like a tiny bit every single day until the exam, let's say 30 days, compared to someone who just studies the couple days before, your memory is fresh. You're like, it's because it's slow. So you didn't hurt your brain doing it. You know, you didn't, what's the right word? You didn't like strain your brain in taking everything and make it so dense. You slowly built that knowledge over time. By doing it in small increments, it allows you to stay in your brain. And then what you do is, for example, if you have an exam in 4 weeks, every day, let's say it's, 40 pages of study that you need to do. This is just general example. Every day, take one page, and then, one page. And then when you, 40 days and you have 40 pages, something like that. Okay, I guess that way. I'm trying to think of the math, if it actually works or not. But let's say 40 days, you have, or let's give it 30 days, you have an exam, and actually, I want the math to be right. I'm sorry. 40 days, you have an exam, and every day you need to study just one page. Memorize one page. At the end of the week, do a weekly review. Then the next week comes about. One page. Do a weekly review, including the week before as well. One page. Do the whole weeks before that. And then once you get to the exam, you have like that whole week left to study everything you've done before, and then the little bits left you have. So instead of, giving yourself everything, or at least half of it, you only giving yourself the last couple chapters, and you've already memorized the rest. So it's like pretty much that, So that's how you alleviate that's a word, stress from school, you know, that's how you take it away.
Yeah, that's the best way to approach it. You can't procrastinate, because
Yeah.
when you peak putting it off, as you said, you strain your brain and you overwork yourself.
Yeah.
So then there's too much, and then that's when you become overwhelmed.
Yes.
And also, just leading on to the dealing with stress and family, it's like if you actually like knowledge, which knowledge is power, that can also be an escape. Like if
Mhm.
the family's just, everyone's at each other's necks doing whatever, you could just go, just, pop the headphones on, listen to lectures, and just, it's something completely off topic to the family. So
Mhm.
then when you're just learning, it's a bit of an escape. That's kind of not something that I would use, but
Yeah.
it's a good alternative. And you can't just procrastinate, because then that's how you end up failing, or if you end up um, overworking yourself, and you become so overwhelmed that you just forget about everything else.
Yeah.
You have to think about it logically. Just take a deep breath, think about it logically, evaluate your situation, find a solution.
There you go.
Yeah.
Said it perfectly.
That's what you got to do.
All right. I guess that ends that one. What's the next topic?
Should we jump into the next topic, or do we need a little segment to happen?
Ah, okay. He knows what's up. He knows what's up.
Well, yeah, I already know.
So yeah, let's do let's break it off. We'll do like what is your top icks?
Icks.
Top icks or top pet peeves or
Okay.
fears or something like that. Something like that, yeah.
Up to you. We could do X if you want, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I've written down something from before because I knew I was going to do this segment eventually.
Okay, is it top 5?
Kind of.
Top-
Just top 5.
I got.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
okay, yeah, let's go. One by one, or
Yeah, go ahead.
number
I'll find
one.
mine, yeah.
Number one. Tattoos.
Really?
I know it's a bit of a
Dodgy.
50-50 one.
Controversial.
In Islam as
Mhm.
well, tattoos are not allowed.
Yeah.
But for me, I don't know what it is. Tattoos, if it's just on anyone, they look good on people.
Yeah.
They look very well. Like I love traditional ones, especially with Maori and
Yeah,
Samoans.
yeah,
I love their ones because the
Yeah.
art is amazing. But obviously, religious standpoint, it's haram. But on anyone, especially on someone I'm close with, I
Yeah.
do not like. I don't know why it's just
Yeah.
damaging to the skin, and it just doesn't. It's not clean. I
Yeah.
don't like it.
I
That
mean,
is
you
my
should give
ick.
like, speaking about it in a religious standpoint as to why it's haram is because God's given us this body, and because it's a permanent change, it's going against what He's given you.
You're
know?
changing what he created. Yeah,
exactly. You're changing what He created. That's why, like, trying to do unnatural things like plastic surgery to change the way you look, which is as if like you're not happy with what God has given you. That's kind of why tattoos are haram or not allowed in Islam. So that's just a small, thing. I think my biggest pet peeve is going to be interesting. My worst thing, my biggest fear, my like number one thing, and it's going to sound like what? Misconception.
I get that.
Is my number one, like most like hated thing on the world. I can't deal when someone thinks differently of the situation. For example, I'll give an example using me. So, I would get, followers asking me, "Oh, can you follow me? I'll take a screenshot, I'll send it to my friends, and then unfollow." I love that, you want to do that and you want to show off in that way. But the fact that they would then think that I'm now following you, even though I'm not, and it puts that idea in their head, that's technically a lie. That lie is what makes me like, nah.
No.
I hate it when people think differently of the situation when they don't know the truth. I just love truth. I just want to know the exact truth, and misconception is my biggest fear. Yeah.
You just made my one sound way worse. But mine's more like real life examples.
Yeah,
Mine's
I know.
things I've had, and then just like it's in my memory.
Yeah.
My alright, I'll move to my second one. My second one's a bit better. It's it's kind of specific, but it's being rude to waiters.
Oh, yeah.
So rudeness in general, number one ick.
Yeah.
Like if we're talking about a female, number one thing for me, intelligence is like my favorite.
Yeah.
Second is just kindness.
Yeah.
So rudeness is general is just
Yeah.
so like disrespect or
Yeah.
rudeness, however you want to put it. No, but rudeness to a waiter is like the
Ooh.
biggest thing I can tell. I can just tell about someone. I don't know why, but let's just say I don't know, we're getting food and like
Yeah.
it's 5 minutes late.
Yeah.
If you start yelling, if you start saying, "Oh, this order," keep pestering them, and you can see it's busy.
Yeah.
They, it's a hard job. Leave him,
Yeah.
okay? It's fine. Or if it's like a steak undercooked, or
Yeah.
obviously if it's their fault, it's their fault. But like when you overdo it,
Approach it in the nice way.
approach it in
like,
the nicest way, and
yeah.
they'll be nice back. Because the last thing you want to do is them spitting your food, or they'll just
you never
that's-
know. They're lacing the steak.
you never know what they're doing. They're the one they're giving you the service. So like
Yeah.
you want to be nice to them, so they give it nice back. Okay. Yeah, you just gotta be nice about it, I guess. No, I guess you have to be nice about it. I know there's like the anti like the friend that's socially awkward. Like you
Yeah.
can't ask for that. Is me. All my friends know I've
Yeah.
never sent anything back. I've never like just taken it back because I'm like, oh, this is a bit
Yeah.
undercooked. Sorry, this I would have
Yeah.
did even if they got it wrong.
Yeah.
Even if I got a steak or
feels so like mean.
it feels so rude to me. It just hurts me. Like
Yeah.
if I said well done, and it's like
And
rare,
yeah.
it's just blood everywhere. I'll just eat it, Carlos, because I can't. It's just like I cannot be mean to someone, or I
Yeah.
can't just make them do more work when it's something simple. Because I just think there's so many like worse problems in the world.
Yeah.
Like there's
Forget about it, bro. There's people in Africa, and you're worrying about
there's
this,
someone
like,
that can't eat, and I'm worried about how much you've cooked it. Nah,
yeah, and they're gonna chuck out what you just made because you just
waste
complained
is
about.
yeah, you can't
Yeah,
waste it.
That's
like,
another thing, bro. Wasting and
wasting is
food
another
and-
big one. But yeah, just rudeness or just that example waiters. That was
Yeah.
my biggest one. But yeah, just be nice, please. Be nice,
Okay.
be nice.
I don't know which one to put first, but I'm gonna say this.
This isn't ranked in order for
Oh,
me, by
yeah,
the way.
no, I'm just-
Tattoos isn't above that. You
Yeah.
got to be kindness before I care about tattoos. Okay.
Dry glass and ceramic. Do you know the feeling of when something has just been washed or like it's just been dried, like glass? Oh, no. Bro,
What was that?
it feels like friction and it feels like it's like, I don't know how to explain it.
Wait,
You
I
got
don't
to
get it.
understand what I'm talking about, right?
Show me,
Like,
show me.
If you have glass, we don't have glass here, but like you kind of, if you like grabbing it and it feels like it's going against your skin, it feels unnatural. Feels like sticky, but not sticky.
Oh, got
I
it.
hate
Yeah,
it. I cannot stand that. I cannot stand that. No. Yeah.
That
No.
okay. That okay. Yeah, I get that. I get that. Ooh. Okay, I got a couple. I don't know which one I should pick. I'm gonna say. Actually, I'm not okay. No, I'm gonna take that back. Having bad breath.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's a bad one. man.
Having bad breath.
That's why I hate garlic. I don't have garlic. I limit myself on garlic.
Listen,
disgusting.
I'm a Muslim guy. You know, I'm very hygienic. I do it. So I'm always
Yeah.
fresh. Like the Arab dads have their nice fragrances and
Yeah.
everything. You know, I take my dad's aftershave and all that stuff. Don't overdo it, but keep it nice.
Yeah,
but
fair.
bad breath. When you're having a conversation, a serious conversation, and then like because obviously you're like a couple minutes into it, you just smell it.
You just
You
get a
can't get it
whiff.
out of that because you're in the. You get a whiff of that.
Yeah, and you're
So-
like, mm.
like sometimes I just go like that, or I just
I'm like,
yeah. I'll bring it up so like secretive. I'll be like,
Subtly, yeah.
oh, we should like get food, or I'll just
oh, do you want gum?
no, not that obvious. I'll be like, we should get food, or oh, yeah, we should just get outside. We should just like
We should breathe some fresh air.
we should
man.
breathe some fresh air. Bad breath. If you have bad breath, Habub, you got siwak, you got gum, you got mouthwash. There's so many things you can avoid to do that. Obviously, if you're eating, I guess you're gonna have bad breath,
Yeah.
but just
Brush your teeth, bro.
brush your
Wash
teeth,
your
man.
mouth
Wash
out.
your mouth. Keep hygienic, all right? You gotta. That's presentable, and especially in like you don't want that to be like you want to be well known for having bad breath or being
Oh, yeah.
unhygienic. Imagine like you just go everywhere like, damn, like Hadi doesn't have good breath. Hadi always just no. You don't want to have that. You want to
Yeah.
you want to smell nice. You want to look nice. You want to press
Yeah.
Fatima inshallah. So
Inshallah.
you gotta look alright.
I have two more really annoying ones.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is like, what? The second one, understandable. I'll give you the understandable one. Is when people edit their comment on YouTube or anything, and they say, "Oh, thanks for all the likes. I don't know, it was mum. I can tell you I'm
Ooh, that's a
famous."
good one.
I hate it, bro. Just take the likes and go home.
Yeah, be
Like, who
humble.
cares? It's so annoying. Oh my god, thank you so much for all the likes. Oh my god, who would have thought I was gonna hit today? Oh my god.
Edit. Thanks for 8K.
Yeah. Nah, I hate it.
No.
I hate it. That's one thing. The other thing is gonna be kind of weird. You know, I've said many weird ones. Dry hands. The thought of dry hands touching each other. Imagine old, saggy woman or man. Like, okay, this is a weird image I'm putting in your head, but
Okay, stop that, buddy.
imagine like just an old guy and his hands are drained. He's been in the sun for 70 years,
Oof.
right? He's got dry ass hands.
Mm-mm.
And then you got dry ass hands. It's cold. There's no friction. There's no wetness. And you just, how does it make sense? When there's no friction, the idea of no friction, of if I'm going to dap you up and then I just feel a slide and no sense of like friction, that makes me go crazy. You don't understand. I go insane. If someone touches me, like my brother knows, if I have dry hands or I sense he has dry hands and he tries to piss me off and try to like dap me up, I'll literally like punch him. I don't care. The thought of it is disgusting.
I used to have that with like the seats and like people wrote the coins on it. It makes that noise, I
On
guess.
the seeds?
Yeah. Have you ever had that? It's not like a much touch, but my hearing, when like you get a coin and there's like on a seat and you scratch it and it makes that like grinding, like also almost like chalk on a
Ah.
chalkboard. That stuff and that I feel like it's connected, but like that gets you.
Nah, I literally that's probably, you know, that's number one. I hate that.
Okay, make that number one.
Yeah, and misconception. You know.
I just remembered one.
Yeah.
People pretending, like, or not pretending, but they always overdo you in a conversation. So like they have to one up you.
Yes.
They're pretending they're more knowledgeable about something.
Yeah.
Let's say you're literally telling them how to do something,
Mhm.
and they're like, "No, it's like this." No, what are you doing?
Or they relate it back to them.
They relate it
Yeah.
back to them, and they tell you their whole life story.
Yeah.
Be humble. Stop talking too much. Okay, when someone's like when they're pretending to be more knowledgeable than they actually are, that gets me. Okay, if I'm explaining something to you, or if I'm just like if literally I'm having a conversation with someone else,
Yeah.
and if I'm having a conversation with someone else, you literally come in like nah, and you have your own input. Like, what are you doing? I'm talking to someone about something, and they have to tell me how, like their experience on it. Oh, this. No, that's a better method, by the way. You're teaching it wrong. Just like
Shut up.
when people keep talking, when I'm trying to explain
Yeah.
something, interrupting, and like it's that person that always just like he needs to know, or they need to know that they're the best in the room, or they need to know
Yeah.
that they're like above you in everything. That gets me. Okay, okay. You know, a lot of my friends, they love cars. I know
Yeah.
nothing about cars.
Yeah.
I know a little bit because my dad knows a lot,
Yeah.
works on cars a lot and shit. But sorry, I swore.
It's fine.
And then like we're chilling and we're just like someone pops the hood. They're just saying blah 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 blah. I'm listening because
Yeah.
like the car revs. It sounds nice. I like that. I guess
Cool car, yeah.
cool. And then like the random nerd that knows nothing about it, actually, he just says blah 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 blah, and he just says something like so obvious, but he tries to make it sound like he knows
Yeah.
more. That gets me. That is I'd say that's number two. Number one's probably going to be the rude food one I was saying
Yeah.
before, being rude to waiters. That's number two. People pretending they have more knowledge of something they don't know anything about. That is number two.
Yeah. All right. No, I think that was a solid episode. I appreciate it. You know, I appreciate you coming on. And
Of
we're
course,
going to
of
be traveling now. We're actually, whilst this will be uploaded, we'll be away and getting some juicy content for you lot. Don't worry. We're going to, spice it up. I'll give you some info. If you follow me on aimview.e on Instagram and EasyCast with 2 T's, Easy, CASTT on Instagram, TikTok. And we'll keep you updated on there because... I'm gonna need more of your input. You know, if you want to drop in a question, drop in anything, send me a DM, and I answer all DMs, and I'm not gonna stutter anymore. Okay, love you guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, notification bell, everything. Share it with your mum, your dad, your sister, and your brother. And if you don't have any of those, unfortunately, send it to your grandparents. And if you don't have any of those, unfortunately, then send it to your friends. And if you don't have any of those, unfortunately, watch the whole thing so we get the watch hours and you benefit from the content.
Yes,
All right.
sir. Yes,
Thank
sir.
you very much for watching. And I'll see you guys on another episode of EasyCast.
Bye.